All right, we are going to go take the new trailer out and haul a truck, or I think it's actually only like half a truck. I'm not entirely sure, but we're gonna see when we get there. Check it out, you got a winch on the trailer now, but it's not like totally hooked up or anything, but we're gonna use it anyway. This call in particular, I denied the call through Towbook for one, and then because of complete lack of information on what even needed to be done, it is impossible with the information that was sent to know what type of truck we even need to respond with. So I denied it. And then this morning get called at 6:30 in the morning, which I didn't answer because I'm having breakfast with my daughter, but wondering why we're late to pick up the trailer and if we're even gonna do it. And that was the first I knew that you guys, or I don't know if that's a through Towbook, FleetNet, whatever thing, but that was my surprise that it was even assigned to us after I denied it. Then I have tried multiple times this morning to call back in. The first time I sat on hold, well, let me clarify, the first time when that lady left a message, the callback number she gave me to call back in to figure out what was going on was the number to Capital One Bank's customer service line. So then I got the FleetNet number and called in and sat on hold for 15 minutes before I gave up and just went about my day. And then FedEx, who's the customer here, called asking what was going on because they're told I'm coming, which I'm not. So I talked to them, and it took all of 1 minute on the phone for the guy at FedEx to completely explain exactly what was needed. But it's all so confusing through FleetNet that I'm not just going to go do it now because I don't know if it's assigned to me or not. So I called back in and I said on,
all right.
You're going to need to let me finish what's going on here because I'm not done yet.
No, I'm going to need to take care of FedEx, my cup. If you're not going to do it, that's fine. I'll unassign you. I'll listen to your story and we'll try to resolve it. But if you're not going to handle it, I need to get someone else to handle it.
I didn't say that.
And we can do this. Okay.
I said...
So it sounded like you said that, but go ahead.
I told him, well, I can't just come now and do it because I don't know if this is even assigned to me or not because I've not been able to talk to FleetNet. I denied the call originally, and now I've got a call asking why I'm late. So I don't know if this is assigned to me or not. So I'm not just going to show up and do it, not knowing if it's assigned to me, and then I don't know if I'm going to get paid or not. So I told him I need to get a hold of FleetNet to figure out what's going on. So I tried calling back in again, spent another 15 minutes on hold and gave up on the thing. And then you guys called me back asking what was going on, and I've been on the phone now with the other lady for 20 minutes now trying to figure it all out, to the point where I said, you know what, I need to talk to a supervisor to figure out how we can straighten this all out and get us working together a lot better, or we just need to not be involved with FleetNet. So nowhere did I say I'm not going to do the call. I need to know what the call even is in order to do it, and know that it's actually assigned to us or not.
Well, first, it is assigned to you, but second, looking at the notes, now you said this came to you via e-dispatch and you declined it, or not?
Yes, yesterday it came in through Towbook yesterday, and I declined it because there wasn't nearly enough information there to even know. You could look at that dispatch, and if you were a tow company with a yard full of trucks, what would you pick to go do that job based on the information that's sitting there? It would be plain.
Okay, I'm just looking back through our notes.
Picking something at random and hoping it's right when you show up, which I'm not going to do.
Okay. All right, let me look at this. Okay. They would have just put in, this.
Yeah, which I think that's a big thing of going back to getting rid of Towbook out of the picture, is if you guys are calling on the phone, I'm already talking to someone saying like, hey, I need this information, and they can turn right around and see if they can get that for me. Instead of then me having to try to call and sit on hold and get to someone, and hoping I get to someone who has any idea what's going on with this call. Because if it's you guys calling, that person's already looking at the call. They already are aware of the situation,
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I agree. Making a phone call eliminates all doubts, and you can get questions answered immediately.
Yes.
Instead of going back and forth electronically. I get that.
We've had that. We had the last... Basically, you guys don't call us unless it's snowing. the whole summer, we will not get a call from you guys. During the winter when it's snowing and everybody's busy, then you guys will use us. So volume-wise, FleetNet is not anything significant to us. So like the last one, I almost just said, forget this whole thing, don't ever call me again, when the dispatcher was arguing with me of what I needed to do and that I needed to go do it. It was a while ago, and the same thing, it came in on the e-dispatch, see that, and it basically said broke down tractor trailer on the side of Highway 97 and where it was and everything, and it's like, all it said was Freightliner. Okay, well, I called in to get the information. No, actually, I denied that one too, because there wasn't, like, okay, broke down, what's broke down? Is the suspension in the rear end's broken, where we can't just hook onto it and tow it, because that would change what equipment we need to bring, obviously. Is it just an engine issue or something like that, where we can hook on it? You know, it's like there's a lot that needs to be said to, like, what are we going to show up to the call with on the side of the highway? So I denied it because there wasn't enough info there. So then a couple hours later, one of your dispatchers called asking me if I could do it, and I asked those same questions of what's wrong with the truck. Is it loaded or empty? What is the type of trailer? Is it a short trailer? Is it a set of doubles? Like, there's a lot of info here that we need to know what equipment to send. And then the big one being, what is wrong with the vehicle? And he said, oh, it needs a mud flap put on it. So we don't need you to tow it. We need you to go down there and put a mud flap on the trailer. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And he goes, no, it just needs a mud flap put on the trailer, so we need you to go do that. And I said, I am not doing that. He's on the shoulder of the highway, right on the white line, less than 10 miles from a truck stop that has a repair shop at it, and there's nothing else wrong with this truck. I am not sitting on the shoulder of the highway with cars flying by installing a mud flap on a trailer when he could simply drive to the truck shop and have it done. And he goes, well, your dispatcher argued with me, well, it's a DOT violation to drive without a mud flap, so he can't do it. You need to go put that mud flap on. And I told him, I'm not doing that. And he goes, you need to. And I'm like, this is not, you don't get to tell me what I will and will not do. So I'm hanging up the phone now, and I'm not doing this. Call someone else and don't call me again for anything like this. And I was ready to just be done with FleetNet on the spot, because he's arguing with me, telling me I need to go do this, which is the request in itself was flat out stupid and puts a driver in danger for no reason at all. So we're not going to do it. But then he's arguing with me about it. And then that was months ago, and then this is the next call I get from you guys that is, again, a total mess of what even needs to be done. Nobody knows. And then I spent, between the two phone calls that I called in to try to figure out what was going on after I thought I had denied it and had nothing to do with it, that was 30 minutes in total of sitting on hold, of time wasted. And then now finally you guys called me back and I answered the call. And between that and now with you, we're at another 30 minutes. So I'm an hour into this of wasted time on top of what it would take to do the job. And like I said, a big thing I think is getting rid of the e-dispatch, so we eliminate that whole time waste right there. But
yes, sir. While we were talking, I sent the email to the appropriate people that you've requested to be removed from the e-dispatch system.
Perfect. So I'm willing to, once we get rid of e-dispatch, go back to trying again like normal. But if it continues to be where we can't get the information we need to do the job, and we're wasting a bunch of our time to even know what needs to be done, like I said, we do not get anywhere even remotely close to enough volume from FleetNet for FleetNet to even make a dent in our business. So why would we continue to waste
Fair enough.
You know.
Fair enough. Understood. But on this one, you are taking it. You have the information that you need. You have the reference number. You have everything that you need to complete this one.
Yes, which we can do tomorrow. So I can do this one, and we will do it tomorrow morning. But after that...
Okay, so what I'm going to do... That's fine, sir. I understand. I'm going to turn it off so you don't get any system-generated notifications. Let's see. Let's do till tomorrow afternoon. I can only turn it off so far, but I'll turn it off so you don't get any calls from our automated system, you know, going, hey, is this done, when it's not going to be not scheduled till tomorrow. So
yeah.
you won't be getting those automated calls.
Okay, and then I'll deal with him direct. I'll get a hold of him directly on setting up time to meet and get the thing loaded and get it hauled out of there.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. All right.
Yep. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, well, after that quick little hour-long freaking delay, we are on the road to the job we probably should have already been at by now. But that is that company is a motor club, basically for commercial vehicles, big rigs, big fleet companies, stuff like that. And they basically handle all of the tow dispatching for all of the big companies and stuff, big fleets and everything. And they used to be really good. Lately, they've been an absolute freaking nightmare to deal with, to the point where I have told them, quit calling me. Well, they still call me. I am willing to continue working for them. They're on probation, basically, on a limited basis. And if they can pull their shit together, great, let's continue doing business together. If not, you are not worth my time. So when it takes me an hour of time on the phone and the computer to, one, figure out the job, what the job even is, and then also try to get paid for it afterwards, and the job's only took me an hour to do, it's not making sense. I'm spending twice as much of my physical time dealing with this as I'm billing out for. So either that extra time needs to figure out how to go away, and you guys need to streamline that, or I'm gonna double the rate I'm billing for and bill you for all that administrative time, which is only fair. So enough of that. I wasn't gonna put that in this video, but this is a part of running this business that you guys never see, and it is a pain in the ass and a hassle part of it. So this is just a little window into what I deal with on a daily basis running the business, on top of everything else that you guys actually do see, is dealing with stuff like that. So enough of that, let's get to the job, and hopefully it's a lot more fun than that was. So we are here, and this is what we're picking up. So 3rd gen Cummins? Yeah. Engine, transmission, transfer case. It's manual too. The whole chassis, and then it looks like the interior is in the back, so we'll have to strap all that down. But should be an easy enough winch it up, as long as that not hooked up winch works and we can figure out how to steer it. So let's do that. Okay, so let's get a little hokey here. Just run a couple cables over and then grab jumper cables. Red to red and black to black. Don't touch. And on this end, and we have a remote. Okay. Get a chain. Now, because we're loading this backwards and there's a lot of weight up there, I'm going to want it way forward up the deck So I'm going to hook to the axle, not to the hitch on the back. Get some free spool, and yes, I had a winch with steel cable, which I'm not a fan of, but I went to Harbor Freight yesterday afternoon to get this winch to do this job, and plus I needed a winch on the trailer anyway. And apparently Harbor Freight, just the other day before I went, I guess, had a 40% off sale on their winches. So they were pretty much out of all of their winches. And I will say this to Harbor Freight: if you're gonna do that again, let me know. I will tell some people on, you know, the whole YouTube thing to help my viewers save some money. But they're basically out of all the winches. I wanted another Apex, but oh, the controller I gotta plug in because it's not an Apex, like I just said. Duh. So come down here, because I also got the add-on wireless controller. The Apexes, this is all built in. On the other ones you have to get it separate, so I got it separate. But this was the only of the full-size winches they had. I wanted to get another Apex and put on here, but and then like wire it in like for real to the batteries down there, but that wasn't an option yesterday when I needed a winch. So we got that one, but at $300 for a winch, I am not complaining. How are we gonna steer this? And does it roll? So it rolls. We need a steering. Can I turn this? No, I cannot. Ratchet straps. See if we can steer it by the tie rod. Maybe hook something there. Come over here-ish. If this doesn't work, I know a chain and binder sure will. Oh man. They roll a little while I pull. That's not doing it either. That did. So you probably didn't see, but I stepped here and bounced on it while I pulled, and that jerked it over. We could just do the opposite to get the other way if we need. I'm not like super straight, am I? It'll work. Okay. Now we can flip this. So we need to go back the other way a little. Parts are falling off. With the proper application of stubbornness and physics, we will get this on here. Do you think that turn is going to work out by the time it gets up there? No, it needs more. Just when you're doing something like this, keep in mind that if it were to let loose, it's going to roll really fast in the direction I'm standing. So like, think about that. Okay. We are on the trailer, so I'm gonna throw a peace of mind chain on here. So that if anything stupid happens now, it doesn't leave the trailer. Okay, I'll bring that down some. Don't pinch those. And don't let red things touch black things. I really gotta like be that much better. So need it that way quite a bit more. On the trailer's on the trailer, close enough. Okay. We'll do this first. So, no chance of screwing that up now. We're going to tie it down reversed, inside out. Okay. Once I get one chain pulling in each direction, I can flatten the trailer out all the way. These out of the way. Oh, that just missed the tire. Okay. Unplug this. There, put there. Done with that. Okay, so that stops it going forward, that stops it going backwards. Can't go side to side. That strap can ride right there. You know what something like this would be really cool for? This is the same lug pattern as my mat tracks. Find something like this, strip all that off, got the Cummins in it, build like a custom cab right here, kind of like a Snowcat-ish type of cab, and then a wrecker bed recovery setup off the back, and have your own like kind of homemade almost snow wrecker. That'd be actually really cool. And I say that knowing I don't have anywhere near the time to do something like that, but it would be cool. Okay, let's go. Okay, all in all, that went pretty good. winched up just fine. I need to finish out that winch setup, and we'll actually be pretty dialed with this setup to do a lot of this type of stuff that's kind of rollback type-ish of jobs, but do not need my big, huge, super expensive to run tandem axle rollback. This would be the perfect setup for that, which is another reason I wanted this trailer. This is basically the trailer I have wanted for years, but I always bought the trailer I could afford or the trailer that was a good deal, and never got the one that I really wanted. And then with the whole track saga, this ended up being the best solution to that problem and the trailer I've always wanted for doing this type of stuff, and basically being kind of like my light duty rollback. So far I'm happy with it. So we'll see how that goes as time progresses. Maybe I'm like, what was I thinking? Either way, southbound we go. Check out the mountains. Looking nice. So we're back home, and you're probably wondering about what you saw in the beginning of the video, which is the mat tracks on the Blazer and these tracks on the Cherokee. I didn't film going and unloading because it was kind of the opposite of what you saw. Took the chains off, tilt the deck up, let the winch out. It was really that simple. So let's explain this real quick. These are the tracks I got from Cousin Dave, and they are on the Cherokee now. I had to take the mat tracks off. Now, mat tracks are such a better system than the snowmobile component style. One, you see just how much bigger all these wheels are than these. Much tougher. These are a floating bogie where they move up and down to follow the ground to keep the track contact all the way across. These are a very rigid system, so if you hit a rock or a bump right here, you are point loading that wheel. Where with this one, hit a rock or bump right here, that wheel floats and goes over it. This one goes down. They all kind of maintain some pretty even pressure. This track right here, this is a snowmobile track. You can see it is that thick. This track right here is that thick. These are designed specifically for this use. These are being used for this use, designed for something else. Now granted, I ran this exact same style of snowmobile track on my original track Jeep for years. Never ever tore a track, even though I thought that would happen right away. And so this is more durable in that sense than you would think. But this and this, completely different deal. They're also a completely different price. You can get this style of track brand new for like $14,000, or this style brand new for like $50,000. It really is that much of a difference. So I had the mat tracks that I got off a smoking deal off a marketplace and did some buying and selling and trading the stuff back and forth. That is what actually paid for them. I didn't put, it's not like I'm not money out of pocket into them. I had them on this, and man, did they work great. So nice. But they hit the body right here. This body used to come down to here and then out, and had this like pinch seam right here, way back here. And if these things, well, those had about that much clearance to it, so they flexed up at all, they'd hit it and that would just slice right through the track. So I trimmed the body down here to try to give them some more room, and it just wasn't enough. It was still grabbing and tearing chunks out of the tracks when they flexed. And the anti-rotate bars that these things have that go in here that stop the rotation, they allow more rotation than what it took for these tracks to hit that body. So that wasn't going to help. And if I got crazy fancier finding some way to limit the rotation even more, then it just kind of got to where they kind of just didn't work at all. So I took them off. I put these ones on. These tracks are a lot smaller front to back, so this dives off a lot steeper than what these do here, which gives you a whole lot more clearance in here. And these can actually flex up quite a ways before this contacts that. And if this catches that and I completely damage a track belt, I forget how much these are, but it's not the $3,000 that this one is. So I threw the mat tracks on the Blazer here, and I know I had said I didn't really want to run the mat tracks on the Blazer because it's got Detroit lockers all the way around, and that's probably not going to work that well with tracks. And then I realized I've never actually tried it. I mean, I put them on last winter, but before it ever got to the point of needing to go use them in the snow, the heck is my other truck? Over there, I put them on my Dodge truck and ran them on that for the little bit that I ran them. I never actually took them out in the snow and tried them on the Blazer. That was just kind of some messing around in the yard stuff. So I put them back on, I'll take them out and I'll do some recoveries with it like that and see how they actually work in the snow with those locked front and rear axles and see how it really does. Maybe I'm completely wrong and that's not a big deal at all. So we shall see. But either way, I mean, you can see the difference in width in these things. Look at that compared to that. Massively different. But granted, these are also made for full-size pickups, not little SUVs and Jeeps. So I'm gonna run them like this. We're gonna see how they do. The Blazer does look really cool on matte tracks, and it's got a ton more clearance here. And even if these do come up and hit, this isn't gonna can opener the tracks like that will. So it's all of a sudden a few days later, and one more difference between these two tracks is snow tracks, all season tracks. So mud, dirt, sand, rocks, pavement, anything, snow. But I didn't come all the way back out here to tell you about some tracks. Came to give you a close out this video with an update on that little phone call with that dispatch company from earlier. A few days later now, that previous call I didn't do. They set up another one for another company that was scheduled to be done today. It was set up yesterday, and there was probably an hour's worth of phone call back and forth between me and the dispatch company to just get it scheduled for today. It's a scheduled deal. It's a truck broke down in one yard, needs moved to another yard. It could be done anytime, not a big deal. After back and forth with them for way too long yesterday, I finally got in touch with the customer once they finally told me who it was. Scheduled it with them. We got it all set up. Everything was fine. Told dispatch company it's all scheduled and set up. Customer told dispatch company it's all scheduled and set up. We're done. I just got to go today, do the job. What's today? You can see I'm not out doing the job. Because at 6 a.m. this morning, dispatch company calls me and says, why aren't you there yet? Why haven't you picked it up yet? Because you're supposed to go on your little stupid ass account with them and let them know when you arrived, when you're towing it, when you've got it dropped off, and blah, blah, blah. So they called me at 6 a.m. this morning asking why I'm not there, why I'm not towing yet, telling me that the customer is upset that I'm not there yet. And I said, you are lying. That is not true, because I know the customer and I know they're not at work yet, and I know they are not on the phone with you about why I'm not there at 6 in the morning when they don't even open till 8. So they said, nope, customer is really upset about this. I go, prove it. So they called the customer on their cell phone at 6 in the morning and then told the customer that I demanded they call him to get straightened out and why he was upset with me. Well, now the customer is upset at me that I made the dispatch company call him at 6 in the morning and is trying to have breakfast with his family, which is not what I said. So I'm trying to explain that to the customer. Dispatch company keeps jumping in and arguing with both of us. We are clearly communicating back and forth and got it all straightened out, and the dispatch lady keeps jumping in and arguing with both of us. So I told them, we're done. Until you guys can figure your stuff out, we're done. Do not call me again until you can fix your system. So as you can see, I'm not out doing that job today, which that was going to be an 8-hour tow, which that's a big one, but it's not worth it when you have to fight that hard to even figure out how to do a job. The one problem with telling them basically to kick rocks is that in the winter time, they are a lot of the work I have for that truck. Basically all of the big fleet company recoveries and winch outs and tows and stuff you see me do in the winter come from that dispatch company, and that's probably not going to happen now, so we'll see how that goes this winter, but they are simply not worth dealing with anymore. It's gotten so hard, spend so much extra time that you're not billing for, that it's not worth it. So that's it for now. 2 sets of tracks, 2 trucks parked in the yard, and I'm gonna go edit some videos and get some stuff done, and we will see you guys on the next one.